Well, hello, guten Tag, and welcome to Estering near Buxtehude, just outside Hamburg in North Germany. This is round 11 of the 2018 FIA World Rallycross Championship, and it is the decisive qualifying four we're about to watch live. So wherever you're joining us from, let us know where you are in the world and who you're rooting for. As you can see, the grid is being cleaned and getting ready for qualifying four, and what an amazing circuit it is. We've got bright sunshine, very unusual conditions for Estering. It's normally a bit chilly and often wet here, but we've got glorious sunshine, and the track is drying and improving as we get closer to racing. And qualifying four is coming up just around the corner, packed, absolutely packed with fans enjoying this October sunshine here in Germany. Thanks very much for tuning in. Yeah, let us know where you're watching from, and if you're watching from the crowds, give us a wave. There we go. So I've got Tim Harvey with me, who's joining Andrew Cody in the commentary booth. Now, Tim, it was quite a dramatic qualifying three. I mean, on paper, everyone seemed to race relatively clean, but there was one major incident, which is our first talking point. Let's have a little...
the world champion.
Yeah, so double world champion Jan Christophen, who's normally cool as a cucumber, got slightly rattled. Let's have a look and talk us through what you saw in terms of the incident between him and Andreas Backerud. So this is the start of qualifying three.
Yeah, well, Kristoffersson hasn't made a good... Oh, this is earlier on, isn't it? This is looking back at some of the highlights. But I hope we get to talk about the action, because it was a dramatic moment.
Yeah, so we've... here we go. So this is the correct VC.
So, Kristoffersson on pole, on the inside, makes a poor start. Backerud next to him immediately gets half a car ahead, aims for the apex, and forces Kristoffersson to either keep his foot in or back out, which he chose to do, which compromised Kristoffersson off the first corner. Now, from a driver's point of view, he's got a choice there. He may be the world champion, but you know, this is again on board. You can see just to your right, he's got the room to move over. You can't even see Kristoffersson in that shot, but he's aimed straight for the apex. And Kristoffersson's got a choice. He keeps his foot in and forces the issue, or he backs out. And I think by backing out, having made a poor start, he wanted to lash out at somebody, and he picked on Backerud really for forcing him into that position. I think unfairly.
Yeah, so what's interesting here is we very rarely see this. Sort of that's hand on hand. Andreas tries to push him away. And just from my perspective, I was standing there. We couldn't open Backerud's door because it had damage from, I think, Timmy Hansen on the outside. Yeah. But Johan just wrenched the door open and got pushed out of the door. But really, you know, as you said, he's just trying to lash out at someone because he really wants to win here to keep his winning streak. Yeah,
and he's still got a chance, but it's unlike him. I thought actually Andreas handled it very well. He was very calm, and when you spoke to him afterwards, I think he handled it very well. But yeah, it just shows that even as the championship tied up, Johan still wants to win badly.
And what was interesting as well is that when you look back at it, actually, Andreas is having to defend against Timmy Hansen on the outside, and there's a little bit of contact there, and he has got more than half a car's length ahead of Johan. So really, there's nothing even for the stewards to look at, in my humble opinion.
Quite right. I agree.
Now, more breaking news. Some sad news for GCK and Liam Doran. We've just heard, and it's official, that he has been disqualified from qualifying one because, as I understand it, he pressed the launch control button during the melee into turn one. Now, he didn't gain any advantage, but that is against the rule. Now, that's a shame, but the law is the law.
It's a real shame because he was right on the bubble of qualifying for the top 12 for the semis. He's been fast. He just needed a little rub of the green to get there, I think. And it sounds like he's just caught the button mid-corner off the throttle, so no advantage gains whatsoever. But the moment you trigger it, it's a judgment of fact, and unfortunately, you cannot use launch control at any point as a means of traction control. Not his fault.
And now everyone's acknowledged that he didn't gain any advantage. He wasn't on the throttle at the time. And just give us an idea, because turn one here is famous for the chaos. And, you know, you're grabbing for the handbrake, you're grabbing for gears, and just, you know, your car's in either side of you. It's very easy just to touch a button.
It is, and what GCK have got to do is they've got to look at what happened and work out where better to position the button so that it doesn't happen again. But yeah, your arms are failing. We often see drivers one hand on the wheel, the other hand grabbing for the handbrake or whatever. So yeah, they need to look at positioning of the button so it doesn't happen.
Well, as you can see, there's a minor delay. They're still clearing the track. So let's have a look at all the starts from qualifying three. Now, first up was race one. I think Cyril Raymond had a lot of work to do here. He really needed a good result.
Look how fast he goes into turn one with Timosyanov, really fast, goes out wide. They come out banging doors, don't they? This actually was a great race, just as a race.
Okay, so that was through turn one, and Timosyanov didn't manage to make the pass in turn one. Now this has got the two OMSE boys who are famous for a good turn one. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, everybody's trying this round the outside. It doesn't always work, because when the cars on the inside filter out, they can just push you wide into the gravel.
Now this is race 3, where it gets to the sharp end. Very bad start there on the outside.
Yeah, on the inside though, no problem, hugging the inside all the way up to the first corner. That's a classic pole to first corner, how you defend the inside.
And Loeb had a really bad race in that, because later on he was pushed wide again onto the gravel. But this is a great result for Ekstrom. There we go, there we see Loeb.
That's the incident with Baumanis, where he went, and actually Loeb did brilliantly to recover. He set a really fast lap time and actually still kept himself in the game. Welcome, Andrew.
Yeah, this is the incident that caused Johan to get right up in Andreas Backerud's grill. But again, we've just been joined by Andrew Coley. From your perspective, Tim was saying that Andreas didn't really do anything wrong. What do you think?
Well, he was half a car in front. Johan will have his reasons. I'll have a chat with him later on. It's nice to catch up with the drivers. We're lucky to have great access, and they're very honest about it. He'll say either I was a bit hot-headed or I'm really unhappy. They do tend to tell the truth. Looking up there behind the shot, you guys, it is a wall on the inside. So Johan will say that Andreas was going to put him in the wall. Andreas will say, I can claim the piece of road. He's half a car in front, so he can. And Johan did brake and backed in, but for some reason he was very unhappy. Yeah. So, he's won the championship, and he's normally super cool. He's not very emotional in the car. So we'll go and ask him later on.
Okay, we've looked at some of the starts. We've looked at the incident between Johan Kristoffersen and Andreas Backerud. Now let's have a look at the whole story of qualifying 3. So let's talk us through this. Then this is the highlights of qualifying 3.
So this was up to turn 1. Timosyanov desperately trying to find a way through the inside, but couldn't do that. You can see around the outside, Cyril Raymond, him and Tim, and then went side by side down the straight. Raymond getting the better of it this time. Next lap round, Raymond runs wide, only a tiny bit wide. Timosyanov gets cleanly up the inside. Lovely job, and manages to make the pass. So the Russian flying. Unfortunately, on the last lap, you'll see Cyril Raymond spinning on his way into the Joker lap. Not feeling very well this weekend. A shame for the young Frenchman. But Timosyanov taking the win in the first race at Q3. Everybody else coming through in the background. So look at Cyril having to reverse the car out. So this was Liam Doran on the outside again, looking for a way through. Larson, unfortunately, running the car just a little bit too wide, clipping the bank, and that meant that it spun the car back around. Kevin Eriksson leading. People making mistakes on the way into the Joker. That was Markland towards the end of the race. And you'll see that Eriksson on a fantastic drive here. Big push. Track conditions were changing a little bit, though. The long shadows, sun's a little bit higher in the ground, sky now as we head towards Q4. So a good race between those guys. This was Shisharit stalling on the line, so Gulan Shisharit stalling, but watch for Sebastian Loeb. So Loeb here coming up towards turn 1 again, tries to turn the car in, but he can't. Niklas Gronholm's inside him. He ends up alongside Baumanis. This went all the way down to the end of the straight. So have a look at the outside angle. You can see, first of all, it's Gronholm, then it's Baumanis up his inside. Look in the background, there's contact between them. We're talking 120 miles an hour here. Baumanis up on 3 wheels, Loeb in the gravel trap. So he pulls the car out of the gravel trap, sets chase on the others, and in fact at the merge he was in front of Baumanis, but it was Ekstrom who took that one. So good recovery by Sebastian Loeb, but Ekstrom with a fantastic pace. He was saying that he felt that the track would develop and that he wouldn't be able to beat the quick guys in the last one. On board with Solberg, heads up towards turn 1. You haven't seen it there, but Kristoffersen has had the door shut, as you've seen already from Backerud. Solberg thinks he's got the inside line here, but he hasn't. In fact, when he comes out of the turn, you'll see there are 3 cars outside him, and 2 of them managed to get past. So now Backerud leading this one, chasing the time of his teammate Matthias Ekstrom over the top, where it's remained smooth. You can see a couple of bumps developing through there. Riding on board with Solberg on the way down to the exit of the Joker lap. It was Backerud who took it, but he wasn't quick enough. So Backerud was just 0.2 of a second slower than his teammate Matthias Ekstrom, and that's the first time I've seen those pictures. So there we. I'm sorry I was late. I was in the truck making the TV show for tonight. I come out and heard Tim on. I was like, oh dear, I'm late.
We thought you were sweeping the track. So any predictions now? Because of course, despite all of that, Johan Kristoffersen is languishing as top qualifier again. Still, but it's very, very tight. And of course, he'll be in race 3, but on pole position. So that could work to his his advantage, but then the faster 5 cars will be in race 4.
Yeah, it's difficult to say. I don't think there's an advantage anywhere on this line. The first corner is so random at the moment. You could really get out in front from any position. I think Ekstrom's found a little bit of pace over yesterday, where they made some setup changes, but he's on fire now. Winner here last year as well. But I've got my money on Solberg, actually. I'd like to see him do it.
Okay, so any predictions from you before I send you to commentary?
Carnage is what I predict up at turn 1. Join us there in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, okay, well, we'll send you boys up to the commentary booth. That's Tim Harvey and Andrew Coley, and as you can see, cars are beginning to get ready to the grid. Now, these are the start marshals, and look, the lines here, we were talking about this earlier in qualifying 3, the cars seem to be trying to avoid the white lines, but also the rubbered in part of the track. So watch out for where the cars position themselves. I think our cameraman just knocked over the Bob just knocked over the start sensor. So now we've got the grid. De Moustier's coming up next to us. Let's see if we can speak to any drivers. This circuit is absolutely dynamic, and the cars have to be set up for a real 60-40 tarmac gravel split. And look, you can just see on René Munich's car just changing the tyre pressures a little bit to make it set up properly. Timur Timosyanov, when we saw him earlier, Timur, we saw you earlier, we couldn't get your door open because of that. That's someone's wheel print on the side of your door. How are you feeling ready for Q4? Do you think you can make the semis?
Yeah, we at the moment we're on a tactic like full attack. No other chances to be in the semis. It's quite big gap to the 12th position. But yeah, I think that is not the last scratch on my car. I feel it like that. Germany is a special track, and especially first corner, that we need to be really man there to be in front. And I think it will be some mass now there.
Yeah, good luck with that. Let's just go over here. I spotted Johan Kristoffersson. Let's have a word. Johan, hello. You've got yourself in pole position for race 3, which is probably almost perfect because you should be able to pull out and lead that race. Talk us through what happened with Andreas, because what were you saying to him? Because from watching the pictures back, it doesn't look that bad what he did, but you may have a different opinion.
No, it was not so bad. And if I told him if I was in the same position, I would have done exactly the same. So I mean, it's not the grip position in P1 here. It's very low grip, so it's tricky to launch from there. And then, he said he couldn't see me, and he turned in. So, and I said, I understand, because in your position I would have done the same. So, fair play.
It's very unusual for us to see you get like that. You're normally so analytical and calm. What is it about here and this weekend? Why did that get a rush of blood to the head like that?
I think it didn't, no? I think I'm still pretty calm. So there was, like I say, I just said that. It's tricky to launch from there, and if I was in his position, I would have done the same. So, but for sure, everyone want to do the best results they can. I was in a good position. I knew it's going to be tricky to launch from there, and the marshals wants to push us over to launch, and now he's coming. So maybe he can come here, Andreas. Maybe
we should try and get him over here. So, but it just goes to show how important you're already double world champion, Andreas. Hang on, I'll just grab him over here. Andreas. So we just wanted to sort of see you two guys together. There we go. It's a nice sporting handshake. So, and Johan was saying that he would have done the same thing in your position. So all's fair once you're racing, but there is that adrenaline at the end of the race, isn't there?
It is. That's the heat of the moment. I had it yesterday.
bad. It was not so bad.
On TV, it didn't look that bad, to be honest.
Did it felt bad?
No.
Exactly.
Well, listen, it's good to see that you're getting on all right, and you obviously won't be in the same race in this qualifying, so everything will be fine.
Yeah. And now I'm just looking forward to see Andreas do the same launch again.
Yeah. We'll see about that.
Okay, well, good luck. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Good to see you getting on. There we go. Look at that. All love and smiles until they get the helmet on, and then it'll be different. So they're still discussing it. It's brilliant. So now it's time to get racing underway, I think. Race 1 is on the line. Qualifying 4 is live, and your commentators are in position. It's Andrew Coley and Tim Harvey.
Neil Cole, great job getting those two guys together, and that's a good indicator of what this championship is like. Honestly, those guys get on. I will say there are relationships in the paddock which are a bit more fractious. They do get on. I think there was some confusion there with, have you seen the pictures? we're talking about the pictures of turn one, and we're actually talking about the pictures of the confrontation after the race, you know. So, okay, Johan gave him his opinion. Maybe he was quite forceful with it. Bakker was quite forceful in turn one. As Bakker had said, that is rallycross. Right, let's see what's going to happen in Q4 then. 1, 2 and 3 have been brilliant. Kjetil Larsen on the inside, de Moustier, Bennett, Munich and Cyril Raymond. Cyril Raymond is not going to make the semi-finals here. He's not felt well all weekend. He had another mistake in Q3. This is the one, Tim. This is the one.
Yeah, this one, whoever gets a great start, gets in the lead, can put a fast race together, could break into that crucial top 12. It's a tough call, but...
Yeah, long shot for these guys. But I just want to see Cyril get a good result.
Yes,
you know, I want to see the true pace. We know he's fast, and he'll be gutted because he was so looking forward to this. You know, they love competing in Euros, and they look at the times. They compare themselves with the World Championship drivers. But this time he got to compete with the World Championship drivers. Munich up the inside. Raymond can't shut the door, but he does somehow. Moves across. Kjetil Larsen is sideways on his inside. Cyril Raymond full gas around the outside. I would have my money on Cyril here, but Larsen's managed to get it. Who's got the quicker car down the straight, and who's braver on the brakes? Cyril Raymond is online, Kjetil Larsen is offline. Cyril leaves enough room, he knows Larsen's there, there's contact. On the lock, on the gas, Kjetil Larsen gets through, Bennett's going to get through too. And now Raymond's got a fight on his hands again.
He was unlucky, but you know what? If you're going to pick a fight, Larsen probably wasn't the guy to pick the fight with, because he was always going to keep his boot in. You've seen some waters gone down, particularly in the Joker.
He's had a bit of a shocker there as well, because he's gone Joker on the first lap to try and make some space. He's going to end up now potentially behind de Moustier. Can he get de Moustier on the merge? So Cyril Raymond now, if he's going to get that position back, he's going to have to pass Larsen on track, Tim, because Larsen went in with him.
Yeah, he did, and that's going to be unlikely now. The track is probably going to be a little bit slow with some moisture having gone down. I know we've got dust there, but on the gravel section, and 40% of this track is gravel, there has been some water.
Larsen leading, Bennett leading. Larsen the leader of those who've jokered. Bennett, a last minute decision change. You can see from the pictures there, we threw out the window. He was slightly offline and changed his mind. So Rennie Munich's gone joker now. Where's Munich going to come out? So Munich comes out in front of de Moustier, who hasn't jokered yet. So Larsen and Raymond, the leaders from contact, and Raymond is round again. So he obviously managed to get a nose up the inside of Larsen. Tim,
that sums up his weekend.
It does. That's just what I'm going to say.
A catalogue of small problems and errors, and it's unfortunate we haven't seen the best of him. But let's not take anything away from Ollie Bennett here. He won a heat race yesterday. He's going to do the same again today. Oh no, he's run wide.
Tim, his windscreen is covered in dirt. I don't know if his wipers aren't working, but Bennett's windscreen, look at the colour of it compared to Larsen's, it's covered in dirt. Finally the wiper comes on. I think he needed to have that on before the braking point, because he was seriously hindered on the way in there.
Yeah, commentator's curse. I just praised him up. And
Sorry, Ollie. These things happen. We're quite good at that, aren't we? That's his seat. Now we're struggling with the dust ourselves. Imagine it was like in the car. There was Munich having a look up the inside of Bennett. But Larsen is leading this one. Bennett right behind him. de Moustier, the only driver yet to joker, and they're just going to complete this lap and get themselves around to the finish. Larsen, I don't know if he thought he needed to joker there or not, ran himself a little bit deep. Check your flag. Target time, but I think it will be fairly well beaten by the top drivers. 2:39.6. Yeah, well, look and see the last session was won in 2:25.5, 14 seconds. So that will fall.
That's been the last of their action for the weekend, sadly, but been some good performances throughout.
We've had some brilliant racing, haven't we? That's the thing. We've had brilliant racing. Result Q4 race 1, Larsen from Bennett, Munich, de Moustier and Cyril Raymond. It hasn't been his weekend. We look forward to seeing him back in a top car again in the very near future. So here's another look at the start. Cyril Raymond gets a pretty decent start, but Munich next to him has got a super pass. So I was actually surprised Munich backed out. I think Munich looked left and right and realised there were two cars there. And he just lost out in the first corner, Tim. If he'd managed to hang on down at turn 2, which he nearly does, I think, well, he would have taken it, I'm sure. Look, here.
Yeah, but he had Larsen on the inside all the way down. He knew he was there, and he was never going to get across the nose of it because Larsen was just in the perfect place.
So Larsen goes, and look, Cyril goes as well. Maybe he wanted to get out of, from behind Ollie. It's hard to tell, isn't it? At that point, he knows he's got to pass Larsen on track, and I wonder if we might get a look at that, because it looks to me, this was Ollie's mistake. Already the dust on the screen looked for Bennett,
yeah.
And it was the same the next lap. So Bennett either with a problem with the wipers, and that was it, look. So in fact, he wasn't a nose up the inside, was he? But Larsen ran wide and bogged, and Raymond was carrying that momentum through the corner. And once you've got momentum, Tim, nothing you can do in a slide.
Yeah. And then Larsen's line just cut back across the front. It was one of those things. But so, Bennett eventually finding the wipers, but I think he was compromised in the early laps here on the part where it was damp.
Yeah, not ideal for him. Larsen with a decent drive to take the win, but I think the time will be beaten later in the session.
Shettle, lads, I could see how much that meant to you when you pulled up here, you got out of the car celebrating, and you had quite a big incident yesterday morning. So what does it mean to win this race?
Yeah, I mean, the whole foot is blue, and my whole neck is blue, and I had a 15G impact in the training when I hit the concrete on that side and went to the other side with the concrete. So for me, just to drive yesterday and even to drive today is very good. I have taken so much painkillers just to drive, so the adrenaline is pumping now, but I feel the neck is very, very bad. But it means very much. I was like this in the car now, so very, very good.
Well done, great drive.
Thank you very much.
Oh, that's cool. He's really, really pleased. And Tim, I was stood up at turn 1 yesterday when the ambulances came for him. He said he'd fainted in the car. He then climbed over the tyre, but he felt awful, and he's in a lot of pain. And it's just great to see him with a big smile on his face with a little victory at the end of the weekend.
Yeah, he goes away with something really positive after a bad start. It was only in free training, as he said. So, yeah, good job by him. You know, tough man and the team to get the car out, and rewarded as always in motorsport. You know, the more you put in, the more you get out.
Yeah, great stuff. Not a World Championship regular either, don't forget. So to win a heat race in the World Championship, regardless of who's in it, is something you can go home and say to him, I want to race in the World Championship. Yeah. That's the cool thing. Shisha on the outside. He's going to need a better start than he had last time. Bogged down there and lost a lot of time. So yeah, let's take a look at the grid then for race 2 of Q4. Liam Doran on the inside, his teammate Shisha on the outside. As I say, needs not to stall. Doran in 20th. If you're wondering why, since Q3, they've disqualified him for Q1. Now that sounds strange, and that's because they've looked at the data on his car. He's touched the launch button whilst using the handbrake, and that means that they see that as traction control. It was an accident. They've seen the onboard. It was in turn 1. He touched it by accident, but still he gets disqualified. Timosyanov, Balmanis and Larsen in this one as well. I feel really sorry for Liam, Tim, because that's just one of those things. We've actually had Tommy Rustad was disqualified for the same thing in Barcelona a couple of years ago. It's not a deliberate attempt to cheat. The launch button is on the handbrake, and as you're about to see in turn 1, anything can happen there. He touched it by accident, but it probably means he's not going to make the semi. So Liam and Shisha with Hart, pretty decent starts, and finally Liam gets the whole shot. Actually, he's beaten off the line, but is he going to get through turn 1 first? Or is Timosyanov going to be up his inside? Liam does get through it in the background. Balmanis has gone round. That is a disaster. Can he get inside Shisha? He can't. Contact between him and Shisha. Shisha was in P12 and Balmanis was in P11. Tim, this could open the door for the guys behind.
Absolutely, they were on the bubble, but as it was actually Liam that was the next man up that could have done it. Can he do anything for effectively 20th overall?
Well, we're going to find out, aren't we? And that's a problem there for Larsen in the background too, so people making mistakes left, right and centre. Timosyanov coming through the joke about alongside Larsen. Trimmer's going to try and go around the outside. Can he pull it up on lap 2 side by side again? But no, Larsen is in front.
This is really bad, really, for GCK, isn't it, overall? Because the next few heats are going to be quicker, but on the bounce of that, it's great for Timosyanov.
It is indeed. Timosyanov is only 1 place behind Robin Larsen. Timosyanov saved me now, though Doran's dropped down the standings thanks to that DQ from Q1. Contact in the background between Timosyanov and Larsen. Timmer up the inside! Go on, Timmer, stick the nose in there!
Oh, yes.
God, have some of that! Brilliant pass! No one's passed there before!
That's the first one we've seen there all weekend. That was a great job.
Brilliant pass by Timosyanov. You can see the timing screen, dot at the top. As soon as they cross the loop, and he moves himself up ahead of Larsen. Absolutely brilliant. There you go. So Timosyanov chasing down Liam Doran. That will have cost him a bit of time, Tim, but that was a great, aggressive move. Timmer fighting for a place in the semi-finals.
Yeah, it's what we like to see, and it just shows what great rallycross circuit Estering is.
Liam Doran runs, Timosyanov runs a bit wide while Liam Doran goes into the Joker. Look at the sand on the gravel, from the gravel trap on the side of the road. Larson had hooked a wheel on the way in. Timosyanov chasing now. They both joked with Liam and Timmer. So now it's about race time. 2:39.6 is the target, but remember that to win a session, you need around a 2:25. So 2:25 is what Liam needs to be getting towards to be right up the standings. I still think he'll struggle to make it, but then we have seen people having problems behind him. So Liam Doran, after a good time, is a couple of seconds off the pace of the very top guys, but he wants to stop the clocks as soon as he can. 2:29.9, so 2:29.9 would have been enough for a top 10 time in the last session. 9.6 seconds faster.
With the track having been watered on the gravel, it is going to be slower and it will get quicker. But Liam couldn't have done any more. He got the start, he led every lap. That was as good as he could do.
Tricky for the British bomb this weekend. So unlucky with that DQ in Q1. Seen some fantastic pace from Liam Doran, and he takes this one 2:29.9. Timosyanov, can he capitalise on the problems for Baumanis and Shishrit, who were stuck at that first corner for a good 10-15 seconds, last in P3. All these guys on the cusp of the top 12. So at the minute it's Doran, Timosyanov and Larson as your top 3 in Q4. Okay, having a look at the start, Tim, Liam on the way up there on the inside.
Yeah, he gets a great start. No one can move over on him. He carries the speed in. Timosyanov on the inside, but it coming out, and there's the spin, just contact, almost in the dust.
Shishrit ran into the back of Baumanis. He might get a reprimand for it, you never know, but Timosyanov, look at that, for me was brilliant.
That was great.
It was, there's no room there, is there? With an Armco barrier on the inside, you've got to have the kahunas to stick it on the inside.
Larson was lucky not to go in the wall.
Really, really strong overtake from Timosyanov. Love to see him go through to the semis. Liam Doran takes this one.
Liam, a great drive, a race win. How do you put that into perspective after what's just happened between Q3 and Q4?
Too little, too late. Honestly, I'm stoked. We've had like amazing lap times all weekend. Like, the best event for me in a very, very long time in terms of performance. I really haven't had to push myself too hard, and I've been running top 4 lap times all weekend. To be competing with the Volkswagens and the Audis, no problem at all, to be honest. And warm up this morning was fine. Lap times, yes, they were fine. Again, lap time in Q3 this morning, but Rallycross, you got to get the starts, and I've been starting P4, P5, Q1, 2 and 3, and clearly proven, and I get a good chance in Q4 on the pole. I got the lead and sort of maybe not ran away with it, but a good race, and it'll go fast. The conditions are going to dry out. It's really wet, but it's too little, too late. Like, yeah, car's been great, team's been great. What can I say? It's just luck of the draw, really, and I had it this weekend. I think we really had the pace here to the final. Team's been working so hard, and I've been concentrating really hard. Just frustrating. It's going to come to nothing. But that disqualification in Q1, they disqualified me for touching the launch button when I pulled the handbrake, which clearly that's no advantage. It's a pure accident. If you look where it is, it's a pure accident, and I'm out of the event now. But part of it, it's that right here on top of the handbrake. You know, these cars are fast. You don't do everything perfectly all the time, and I touched the button by accident for about 1/10 of a second, and I'm out of the whole event because of that now. So that would have put me into the semis if it hasn't for that. So I'm happy. The performance is there. Like, we're working towards next year, and we're all of a sudden we're bang there. We're there. We're racing with the Volkswagens for lap times, and had a great weekend. It's been taken away from me a little bit, but it's what it is.
Well done, Liam.
Thanks.
Liam Doran, nothing but honest in his appraisal of his own performance. And now having won that one, it's a good result, but with that DQ from Q1, not going to make it through to the semis. Kristoffersen is on the inside for this one, look. And he was in the same place last time out, so can he find any traction? Here's the grid for race 3 of Q4. Sebastian Loeb on the outside, Anton Markland inside him, Kevin Hansen in the middle, next to Kevin Eriksson, 2 of our young guns, and the world champion on the inside, having not got the best result in Q3, but as you can see, is first after Q3, thanks to his efforts yesterday. If everybody on used tyres, so they've either used them all or are saving new ones for the semi-finals.
Saving them. It'd be interesting, did you pick up on the fact that Kristoffersen said it was difficult to launch on pole position?
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see how he does it this time. This is exactly where he was when he had the incident with Backery.
Will Ericsson be able to shut the door on him? Long old goal, wasn't it? Brilliant start. Sebastian Loeb, slot number 5. Kristoffersen claimed the road immediately, not having any of that. Kevin Hansen sideways around the outside. Kristoffersen looking all the way up the inside. World champion driving there from Kristoffersen. He's up the inside Loeb, and I will be staggered if he doesn't take the whole shot down at turn 2. Look at that, incredibly late on the brakes. Loeb going to shut the door and slot in behind him, nowhere else to go.
Yeah, a world champion does make the same mistake twice, does he? He got a good launch, no one was in front of him, he pressured it on the inside in turn 1.
That's the thing, he claimed that road tip. He literally took 2.5 cars widths on the road towards the wall. You'll have a look at that in the replays in a minute. Into the joke lap goes Markland. So Markland runs the car wide, gives himself a little bit of space from these guys who are battling. Hansen looking up the inside of Ericsson. Another great move. Kevin Hansen, fantastic move up the inside of Kevin Ericsson. Kevin Ericsson with contact all the way down the hill. He won't be happy, but again, as long as Kevin... Oh, they ride up. Kevin Hansen rides up. You saw the front of the car lift in the dust. Somehow still holds on.
Yeah, with wheels touching each other. That's the same as happened with
Baumanis and Loeb. Yeah,
the wheels were riding over each other, but they keep going, and Hansen's driving really well.
So Kevin Hansen claims the position of Kevin Ericsson. Kristoffersen and Loeb out front, still circulating without having to make those moves. Here you are on board with Loeb following Kristoffersen, and these guys, they're gonna benefit from the fact that the others are having little squabbles.
Yeah, exactly. They'll probably follow each other now, won't they, and get a good time out of it. They had their fighting into turn 1, and it's Kristoffersen that came out on top of it.
Kevin up towards that super committed area. There he is, Kristoffersen through. Does Loeb go Joker?
He's got space to do it. He doesn't take it, but he had space behind to maybe take it.
So the top 4 yet to Joker, and Anton Markland, look, is right on the back of them. So Anton Markland is up with Kevin Hansen and Kevin Ericsson here, and could stand to benefit massively.
Could get third, couldn't he? If they hold each other up a little bit, he does another good quick lap. Markland could get third, and he could be the one to get through into the semis.
Yeah, GCK need a little bit of luck, don't they, with one of the cars. Shisrit might still make it, but with that stall, or certainly with the problem in turn 1, maybe not. Kristoffersen will go Joker this time. Watch the nose of the Polo, lets it drift wide, followed in by Loeb. Into the left-hander, 2:29.9 is the target time. It's still slippery out there because it's not that much quicker. But okay, it is 2:27.1. And who's going to get it? Super close. Kevin Hansen beats Anton Markland at the line by 0.2 of a second, or 1/10 of a second, pretty much. While Kristoffersen is 2.8 seconds faster than Liam Doran. So a good drive by Johan, very forceful at turn 1 to claim that position. And a 2:27.1 is closer to the ultimate pace. Will the track be dry for that last run? Loeb P2. Kevin Hansen just gets Mark. Look how close it was. And then Kevin Ericsson in P5. Kristoffersen and Loeb up to the top of the table. Liam Doran and Timosyanov are right up there too. So Liam might have made the semis. Can Timosyanov make it? So Kristoffersen on the inside gets a good launch. Tim, go for it.
Yeah, no one alongside him apart from Loeb, the fastest starts around the outside. And Loeb thought he had it covered, but no, Kristoffersen this time forced the issue, manages to come out alongside. Here we are, side by side, down into turn 2. No way Loeb could get across in front of Kristoffersen.
Brilliant stuff, and in the background, you actually saw Kevin Hansen and Kevin Ericsson coming together on the straight the first time down there. So there's a little bit of, yeah, you gave me that, you can have some back. Now watch them at the bottom, you're not going to see them, bottom of the straight. Fired the car up into the air. Kristoffersen, though, with a tidy drive. I say that the track conditions are developing just a little bit, and there are 5 cars still to come to settle qualifying.
Johan, that's exactly what you needed, and a nice fight with Loeb, but you got out in front.
Yeah, it was okay. It was. I had a good launch from slot 1, as good as I think I can get. And from there on, you know, it's always difficult in the first corner, but I get upside of Sebastian, and then Peugeot is incredibly fast on the straight, but I just managed to outbrake him in the bottom, and then I had one small mistake, and I was not driving perfectly, and the track evolves for every lap. You can feel that it's getting faster and faster from lap to lap, so we'll see how it is. But anyway, this one I think will secure a front row and maybe even pole position for one of the semis.
Well done, thanks, Johan.
Thank you.
Good drive by Kristoffersson. As I say, front row is enough, you know, but pole would be great. And yeah, he was in the top qualifier spot, but it was close between him and Petter Solberg. So Solberg could maybe get the TQ. Solberg got the TQ here last year with 2 broken ribs and a broken collarbone.
But would he rather be on pole for one of the semis than third or fourth for the other? Who knows? But he picked up on something I spotted yesterday. The Peugeots look fast, and I just think they've cranked the engines a little bit. They've got a lot of power at the moment.
I spoke to Kenneth yesterday, and he said they're just still looking for that window of drivability. Timmy Hansen drove the old car a couple of weeks ago and really liked it straight away. And I say the new car, in theory, on paper, from an engineering point of view, is faster, but at the minute it's not giving them the feeling that the old car gave them. And Kevin Hansen proving that with some brilliant results this weekend. Along with that man, Niklas Gronholm, nearly called him Marcus. Marcus here this weekend as well. Petter looks down at the dash. Look at these settings on the wheel.
Yeah, I saw Marcus in the EKS pit having a long chat. Wonder if he's looking at next year.
Interesting stuff. I asked Marcus on Friday, can we get you in a car again? He said no. I think he's promised that his wife that he won't race again, but I'm going to keep hassling him. Him and Kenneth. Kenneth is on, I think, 249 starts or something. That offends me. It needs to be 250. Get Kenneth in a car. There you go, grid's complete. Monster Energy girls are heading off, and we're about to get the final race of qualifying underway. Q4, race 4, here's your lineup. The 2 Audis on the inside, having been P1 and P2. They're currently P3 and P4 after Q3, but they were fastest in Q3. So they're looking at front row slots. They'd like a win here in Germany, wouldn't they? Interestingly, Backerud's gone for new boots here, so is he not saving some for later? Same for Solberg on the outside. Look, Niklas Gronholm and Timmy Hansen completing the lineup. Solberg has a glance across at the lights. You had your money on him, Tim, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. It depends a little bit on this start. Remember, the team's championship is up for grabs as well. But let's see what Solberg can do for the outside.
It was a good start slot for Sebastian Loeb. Oh, Solberg has to hit the clutch, but somehow is still level with the 3 on the inside. Oh, Hansen sideways. Picks up Ekstrom on the inside. Nothing that can be done there. That was a racing incident. Backerud alongside Hansen. Ekstrom on the outside. Timmy Hansen's going to come out of this with a hole shot. Backerud's going to slide to P2. His teammate Ekstrom has a look up the inside at the bottom of the straight, but he thinks better of it. Solberg's ended up down in P5. Solberg's car was moving around. I don't know if he's got a problem or not, but it's Timmy Hansen who leads this.
Near disaster as the 3 cars got together on the approach to race to corner 1, but they're all still going. It's Timmy Hansen that grabbed the opportunity and took the lead. Solberg came off worst.
Gronholm's got Joker on that one. Timmy Hansen, if it hadn't been for Ekstrom's car outside him, where he had contact from the inside, I actually think Ekstrom's car saved him from going off. But as I say, I don't blame anyone in that. We'll have another look at the replays in a minute. Hansen then with a chance here to show how quick that Peugeot is.
Yeah, we know it's quick, but yeah, you're right. He pushed each other straight, didn't they, at the end of it? But Solberg with those new tyres on, he's going to set a fast time now.
I think what's fascinating about this place here is that, you know, okay, we saw great results from Volkswagen yesterday, but they also got the good starts. So now suddenly we saw Audi with a couple of good starts. Solberg's got Joker, and now we've seen a Peugeot with a clear run. You've got to get the start.
But it's so random. It doesn't matter where you start. I mean,
Gronholm's got Solberg, so Solberg's joking, and Gronholm stayed in front of him. So Solberg was hoping to get in front of Gronholm, but Gronholm's done a quick enough lap to hold him off. Brilliant.
Yeah, by doing it first lap, that suited Gronholm perfectly. I think Gronholm's been really punching above his weight. That Hyundai, okay, it's been developed throughout the year, but remember, that's a rally car base.
Brand new car as well this year. You know, they've only had 11 events. I mean, testing on event, they didn't get much pre-event testing, so such a good job by Pinamaki, Marcus Gronholm, running the GRX team. There he is, Solberg's all over the back, but Solberg's wise enough to know unless the door's open, he won't have a crack at it. He's not going to lose much time here. And Gronholm doesn't leave the door open either. So, Timmy Hansen leading from Backerud and Ekstrom, those 3 yet to take the Joker lap. There's Backerud with Ekstrom behind him, 2:27.1 is the target time. Timmy Hansen will go to the Joker now. Just a little rut up at the top. The Peugeot is straight on the brakes. Handbrake into the left-hander. He's in perfect. He's chasing it down. Timmy Hansen aiming for the win in Q4. 2:25.8. Hansen Hansen takes it, 1.2 seconds faster, and Timmy Hansen and Peugeot have won the final qualifying session here at the Estering. The Peugeot is fast, and the semi-finals are going to be great. Fantastic drive by Timmy Hansen. He takes the win here in Q4 overall, not just his race. Bakker is second. Ekstrom, Gronholm, Solberg 225.8. Compared to the rest of the weekend, he's right up there. We've had 224 as the fastest yesterday in Q2, but the other ones have 225.8. Brilliant. So Hansen from Bakker, Kristoffersen, Ekstrom. Solberg's down in P8. Loeb, Gronholm, Doran, that was 7th quickest. That would have been enough to get Doran into the semi-finals, and it's not going to happen. So Timmy Hansen wins the session, and we're going to find out very soon where that will put all these guys for the semi-finals. The front row here is crucial.
Here we go, on board with Gronholm, a repeat. Look at that start. Solberg actually had 2 goes at it, somehow still managed to get across front. Now we see the contact just in front, in the dust. Gronholm sensibly goes to the inside, comes out. Still 3 cars in front of him abreast. Here's a better angle of it. All pushed wide. Solberg at the back, nowhere he can go.
Brilliant stuff, wasn't it? Gronholm had a grandstand seat there of all the action into turn 1. Good tactics by him to joker early. Solberg went 1 lap later, and impressive that he didn't allow Solberg to get the overlap. In that 1 lap, Gronholm was fast enough not to get edged by Solberg. Remember here, it's only a short joker, so he's had to do a really good job to hold on. Timmy Hansen with a very, very tidy joker lap took the checker flag, and with it takes Q4. Great drive, Hansen, and a win in the session for Peugeot.
Timmy, you've won qualifying for what must be the best time to pull out a performance like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a crazy turn 1. Petter had a brilliant start on the outside, and I think he thought he was free. But actually, when he turned in, he hit me quite hard, put all the cars together in a big carnage. I thought I would crash. Finally, I got the car turned in right, and on the handbrake on the inside in turn 1, and between the 2 Audis, they hit me a bit on the straight, better than usual. And no, it was a good carnage there. I'm happy everyone could still finish the race. Then, of course, the 4 laps, I had to refocus. My dad, my spotter, he was pushing me hard on the radio. I had a brilliant run. I'm enjoying this track so much. And yeah, these were 4 great laps.
Well done, Timmy.
Thank you.
Great drive by Timmy Hansen, great drive. Tim, you've been saying all weekend that you think that the Peugeot was fast, you know, and Timmy's finally proved it. He needed that start, and that's why the semi-finals, it's so important that they're up at the front of the grid.
Yeah, it is, and even in the semi-finals, though, it's still going to come down to that start and that first corner. Top 3 from each go through, and it's anybody's money at the moment.
Oh,
Anybody.
100%. Look at Kevin Eriksson from slot 4 in the final that year around the outside. It's going to be great, so stay with us for semi-finals and finals later on today. OK, let's take a look at the standings after Q4 here at the Estering. Johan Kristoffersen takes the TQ. Andreas Bakker is alongside him. Timmy Hansen and Matthias Ekstrom. Then it's Solberg, Gronholm, Kevin Hansen and Sebastian Loeb. Then Markland, Eriksson, Baumanis, Larsen makes it through. Gulan, Schiesserit and Timmers Yarnov just missing out. Look how close the points were on the right-hand side. Larsen, Bennett and everyone else below don't make it through. Well, great stuff here in Q4. Beautiful sunshine, amazing action. You know, just great stuff, great stuff.
It's brilliant. I'm looking forward to the semis massively. So we've got this battle for second in the championship, remember, only 9 points covering 4 drivers, so that's going to be interesting. Solberg with not such a good run in that last Q4. It's up for grabs.
Yeah, all up for grabs. Who's going to take the win here? Is Kristoffersen going to get 10? If he does get 10, he'll be aiming for 11 in South Africa, and Belgium will be the thorn in the side. But he's going to have work to do, because it just anything can happen. Anything can happen. There's the Monster Energy rig. We've got Monster Energy driver Luke Woodham out on track at the minute with the big V8 trophy truck. Fans are staying in place. Places that they grabbed at 5, 6, 7 o'clock this morning. Look at that. Donuts in the trophy truck. Yes, I want a trophy truck. Right, that's it from me and Tim Harvey until later on. Very, very much looking forward to what happens up at turn 1 in the semi-finals and the final.
Well, what an extraordinary session of qualifying that was, and an amazing job by these guys. But also the Peugeot has come back. We now have a real fight ready for the semi-finals. Join us. They'll be on your traditional broadcast platform, wherever that is. You can check the website for details. Make sure you know where you are in about an hour's time when everything starts. There's Petter Solberg coming in. Can he get a win here? Can Johan continue his winning streak, or will somebody else win in 2018? Join us then. Thanks to the TV team, and thanks very much to Andrew Coley and Tim Harvey. Thanks to you for watching, and we'll see you on the telly in about an hour.